No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Well, greetings from New York City, Times Square here in New York. And unfortunately, don't look at the bottom there, Boise State fans. Travis Hunter, courtesy of Boost Mobile, has his billboard up there right in the middle of Times Square. A little cold this morning, but a lot of action as usual. But we are here. We have made it. The Heisman Trophy ceremony coming up on Saturday night. Already a historic night for Ashton Jeanty last night. We'll get to that in just a second. And there's the room. They're setting up inside, getting ready for the press conference coming up here at about 2 o'clock. Ashton Jeanty, one of 4 finalists for the Heisman Trophy. It's real. It is real. You can see it in there. That kind of did it for me. Seeing the Boise State logo. They're getting stuff set up there. And as we bring in our man, Jay Tust here, sports director at KTVB. Jay, we made it, man. The Heisman Trophy ceremony.
Yeah, we're officially here, right? Wild to think. I mean, I think that, back at the beginning of the season, we thought like maybe it was possible, but to be living this out in New York with Ashton Jeanty as a Heisman Trophy finalist it's pretty darn wild. Yeah,
and it already started last night while we were at 37,000 feet somewhere over Pennsylvania. The Doak Walker Award, the Maxwell Award, the 2 individual, biggest awards for a Boise State football player in history. So regardless of what happens tomorrow night, I mean, this has been a successful trip and a historic trip here.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, he won the Doak Walker Award right around 7:30 Mountain Time last night. And then an hour or so later, he was given the Maxwell Award. The Doak Walker goes to the best running back in college football. The Maxwell Award goes to the most outstanding player in college football. And I will add, the finalists for the Maxwell Award were Colorado two-way standout Travis Hunter, as well as Oregon quarterback Dylan Gabriel. Jeanty managed to beat both those guys out to earn that honor. And there is a little bit of history, BJ, where people that win the Maxwell Award often go on to win the Heisman Award. And it's not foolproof, but the odds I don't think they're as lopsided as everybody once believed, with Travis Hunter just running away with this thing.
Yeah, let us know if you can hear us okay. I would assume you can, because you haven't, no one said you're on mute or anything. But if you need us to turn up the volume a little bit, let us know. We're going to angle the light here a little more on Jay. But we're at the Marriott Marquis. We were at the hotel where all the events and things are going to happen. And I'll tell you what, Jay, this is a massive hotel.
It is, yeah. This is my first time ever to Times Square. Never been here before. So a little bit of an eye-opener. We walked in last night, and I think the body clock still told you it was like 10 o'clock, but really it was midnight, and it was absolutely packed, right? It's the city that never sleeps holds its name, I guess.
They said you were a little soft, so I bumped you up a little bit.
That's almost never my issue, but that's okay.
Jay, Travis Hunter did win the AP Player of the Year award. He also won he won a couple other awards as well. So it's crazy, but they're all different voters. They're all different, pools of who actually gets to vote for these awards. So one vote doesn't mean the other. But right. the Doak Walker Award, I think, was the more obvious one that we knew was coming. But for Ashton Jeanty to win the Maxwell Award, the most outstanding player in college football, obviously knew he had a chance. But I think that was the one to me that was like, wow, okay.
Yes. No, you're exactly right. And so I talk about that history, and 8 out of the last 10 Maxwell Award winners went on to win the Heisman. One of the exceptions was last year. Michael Penix Jr. won the Maxwell Award. He did not win the Heisman Trophy. If you go back, since 1979, 11 different running backs have won the Maxwell Award. 9 of them then went on to win the Heisman Trophy. So you could probably also, have similar numbers about the awards that Travis Hunter won as well. But as I said, I just think that this race might be a little bit closer than everybody has been suggesting over the last few weeks. And I've kind of been there the whole time. I felt like it was going to be a little bit closer than what people thought it would be, because the Vegas odds, as we've reiterated ad nauseum, aren't necessarily indicative of the actual race that's going on. It just has to do with money that's being bet in Las Vegas. So we'll see how it turns out. But just to reiterate, the 2 most significant individual awards in the history of the Boise State football program, Ashton Jeanty claimed last night.
And I do think, whether it's, somebody asked, do we know the percentage of vote for the award last night, the Maxwell? We don't.
No.
But the fact that he won, I think I saw somebody say that the odds, I think Travis Hunter was minus 5,000 somewhere before the awards last night, went down to minus 2,000.
Okay.
And again, that's still a pretty large bet, but obviously for that award, I think at least gives you a little more hope if you're a Boise State fan that, hey, maybe quietly, a lot of these people, despite all that public national hype, maybe quietly people are voting for Jeanty.
Yeah. I'm going to say it. I hope that's the case. I feel like he's deserving. You see him sitting with his family on the couch. You see his mannerisms and all that stuff. And the kid just deserves the highest achievement possible in college football. I think he should win the Heisman. Obviously, we've covered him all season long. We've seen the incredible things that he's done. But, I don't know. Hopefully he gets the job done. What,
just being here, and you mentioned your first time in Times Square, but I don't know if it was the first, Heisman sign you saw. They're setting stuff up back behind us, but we've been, planning this. Everyone just assumed, hoped, knew that he would be here, but for it to be, 30 hours away or whatever it is tomorrow evening, as I said, this afternoon, here in 3 hours, we'll get to talk to all 4 of the finalists. I'm really looking forward to talking to Travis Hunter, but kind of how I opened the show, but just to be here, to see the actual logo and to see all this. We mentioned the awards last night. This is a historic weekend for Boise State football.
It is. Kellen Moore's the only ever one to make it here. And, it's so funny because we get caught up in the comparison and labeling GOAT and all that stuff, but it's probably it could be worth having the discussion. Can you have 2 GOATs? Sure, whatever. But what Ashton Jeanty has done this season and the awards that he's won this season, would suggest he's the best to ever do it, and meaning ever suit up for the Boise State football team. And especially after winning the Maxwell Award last night, I just have a hard time arguing otherwise. If he can take this team and win a couple college football playoff games, then it's not even close anymore, in my opinion.
I was even going to start with, they've had some pretty darn good running backs here. Let's forget about the other positions. We'll get to those in a second. But you talk about the running backs alone.
So you got what? Doug Martin, Jeremy McNichols, Jay Ajayi. You can go back,
Alexander
Madison, Ian Johnson.
Yes, and we're leaving off several.
Not only was Ashton the first Bronco to win the Doak Walker Award, he's the first to even be a finalist for the Doak Walker Award, right? And so that, like, some perspective, you're right, BJ, about like some great running backs that have came through Boise State and they haven't even been named a finalist, and Ashton won it. And he now is 131 yards shy of breaking Barry Sanders' all-time record of rushing yards in a season. And, you know, I said it before and I'll say it again. If Ashton Jeanty breaks Barry Sanders' record, he's already qualified this team for the college football playoff. If they go on and win the Fiesta Bowl and he doesn't win the Heisman, like, they need to figure out how to revote the Heisman, because I just think that, should winning mean everything? I mean, not necessarily, but it should mean something. And Ashton's put this team on his back to a bye in the college football playoff, something that not a lot of people thought would even be possible for a Group of 5 school.
Yeah, no doubt. And the accolades continue to go up, and you're doing your 2 o'clock stats every day. Have you found one that's not the most, like, we can all point to the rushing yards, the long runs. Maybe I'm putting you on the spot here, but is there a stat or two that's one of your favorite that's not the obvious ones everybody talks about?
I think one that, you know, was kind of looking at yesterday is the fact that everybody, you know, talks about competition or whatever. Ashton's averaging over 200 yards rushing against teams with winning records this season. That's like 20 more yards than anybody else in the last decade. I mean, it's not even close, right? And then if you look at it, you bring up Alexander Madison. This was kind of a cool full circle one that I actually haven't put out there yet. If you look at rushing yards versus ranked teams, Ashton's averaging over 170 rushing yards against ranked teams this year. That is the most by any FBS running back that's played multiple ranked opponents in a season since Alexander Madison in 2017.
How about that?
So just kind of a little bit of a full circle moment there. And the cool thing about that, and I'll have to go back and find it once I tweet that stat out, is Alexander Madison posing, you know, doing the Heisman pose with Ashton Jeanty in Las Vegas earlier this year. Obviously, Madison is now with the Las Vegas Raiders, and he came out to that game, so that was kind of cool.
There's a comment in there, take the media out of the Heisman vote. And I don't know if I would quite go that far, but you don't need 900 people voting.
No, so that's the breakdown, is there's 870 media members that vote on this, and then every Heisman winner that's alive, and then there's one media vote. It totals up
fan vote,
one fan vote, excuse me, and that totals up to 928 total votes, total opinions voting on the Heisman Trophy. I personally think that, and we heard Brock Heward say this, if coaches were involved, Ashton would win this thing. And I believe he said that, right?
He said if only coaches voted. If coaches voted, he would win.
So the reason why I like the Maxwell Award is you have the Maxwell Football Committee that votes on it. You have select national media members. You have sports information directors. And you have actual coaches, NCAA head football coaches, voting on that award. And I personally think, maybe I'm saying this just because Jeanty won the Maxwell Award, but I think that's a perfect collection of opinions to vote on an award. I mean, I'm a media member, so I guess I'm kind of knocking myself. I don't have a vote, but it does seem like 870 votes is just kind of a lot. And I don't know how much you can count on them. I mean,
we know people that have vote, and Mike Prater deserves a vote. He's watched football for a long time.
Absolutely.
But there are some people out there.
Dude, I know people in the media in the past that I'm friends with, and I would not put them at the top of the list to be voting and sharing their opinions on football, let alone the Heisman Trophy. That's just, I mean, yeah.
What do you want to talk about Travis Hunter for a second? Because it does unfortunately turn into, as we've talked about for the last month, like, oh, let's bash Travis Hunter to make Ashton Jeanty, and that's not the case. Travis Hunter is a remarkable player. He won some awards last night, including one, which a lot of people in the chat are saying that Nick Nash got snubbed there for the top wide receiver.
Oh, man. Nick Nash won the Triple Crown. I don't like what
that is nothing more than him playing at San Jose State and Travis Hunter playing at Colorado.
I mean, really, and the funny thing is like people want to knock Nick Nash playing at San Jose State. He didn't have a Heisman Trophy caliber quarterback throwing him the football.
Yeah,
I mean, like the guy that we saw, that what was his name, Eggett or whatever.
Yeah,
he had an okay day against Boise State, especially in the first half. But if you look at his whole body of work, the fact that Nick Nash led the country in receiving with him as the quarterback a majority of the season is wild.
I agree. What are you looking forward to asking Travis Hunter today?
I was thinking about that. Earlier in the season, he called Ashton Jeanty a good running back. I'm curious if he only thinks that Ashton Jeanty is a good running back.
I want to be there when you ask that.
I know, right? Probably going to go over really well.
Yeah. I'll be curious. Like, I think Travis Hunter believes he's going to win.
Yeah.
I think maybe he handles it a little differently today, or maybe he just has that continued.
By the way, so you didn't finish your question to me earlier. When was the moment that set in?
Okay.
And it was honestly, this is my second time ever to New York, but the last trip was so quick I barely even like remember it, to be honest with you, because we were more going through New York than to New York. And as we were just like, it seems like you hover, you fly so low over the city for like the last 20 minutes of the journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as we land, I'm looking out the window at the city. We got your laptop open because we're trying to watch the ESPN Football Award show, and Ashton Jeanty's winning the Doak Walker Award at that point in time. I mean, that was kind of the moment, like, wow, that could not. The moment we land, he wins the Doak Walker. That was just kind of an awesome moment, I think, to kind of kick off this journey. But to get back to
that was cool.
It was cool.
I felt bad for the lady sitting between us.
I know.
Well, she could have sat somewhere else.
Yeah,
me and Jay are talking the whole time, working. You're getting some. We both had our big laptops out, and our big shoulders, and
we got the exit row, and the last person on the plane took the middle seat between us. So I
tried.
We almost had it.
I've got some pretty good tricks to try to keep that middle seat open, and they kept saying this is going to be pretty much every single seat taken, and I thought we might sneak by it. And lady, last person on the plane, sat in the middle, and but that's fine. She was stuck, kind of looking at the. I actually listened to the Ashton Jeanty Zoom that he did with some of the local media back in Boise that didn't come out here, so I was able to listen to that, and then the awards show as well. But by the way, before I get back to your I don't even know what you're talking. Oh, what you wanted to add. We were talking about Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
We are going to hear from James Montgomery. We are going to hear from Tyler Crow and also Zion Washington coming up in a little bit as well. So we got some cool interviews. Had a chance to catch up with them. And that's cool, too, that tomorrow they're coming out later today, but they were not on the original travel itinerary. They've got some recruits in town. But not only is Jeremiah Dickey, Spencer Danielson coming, but also James Montgomery, the running backs coach. And he's a unique spot where he didn't actually recruit Ashton, but got here after his freshman year. And he told me, I said, when was the first time you saw Ashton Jeanty? You remembered him? He said, I can tell you exactly where it was. We were playing against them when I was at Fresno, and he ran all over us. And I went back and Googled him and was like, what year is this kid? And he saw it was a true freshman and said, you got to be kidding me. Yeah. And a couple months later, he got the chance to end up coaching them. And the last couple of years has been history. But they'll be here tomorrow, and that's going to be a cool moment, for again, everybody watches the Heisman ceremony on TV, and they're sitting in the stands there, and you're gonna have the faces of Boise State athletics, Spencer Daniels and Jeremiah Dickey a part of this. I mean, it's a massive opportunity and showcase, I guess.
One thing that I'm really excited for is to see how Boise State uses this momentum. And I think you just go back to past Fiesta Bowls, and when the football program would win, I just don't know if they had support, but I don't think they grew it as much as they needed to and capitalized on the moment, literally almost, right? And I feel like with Jeremiah Dickey and the new administration, that's not even that new anymore. I feel like whether it be the Heisman Trophy or the Fiesta Bowl, they're going to catapult this thing forward by being on this stage.
No doubt. But you do think, though, I mentioned James Montgomery, but I mean, going back to like a Winston Venable, who recruited him. Our friend Kent Riddle,
Tim
Plow, Kent Riddle, and Winston Venable.
Tim Plow's got a playoff game, FCS.
Yes, good luck to Tim Plow. But he was the one that the old story goes, according to Kent Riddle, that and this is crazy to believe. Yeah. This is no disrespect to anybody, coaches, whatever, but the first round of recruiting film. So they do these cut-ups, the GAs, the recruiting guys, they say, hey, coaches, here's 10 running backs we found. Take a look. Or here's some guys we have connections to, might have a chance with. Here's 10 running backs. Take a look. First set of coaches' eyes watching the film, for all the coaches, Ashton Jeanty did not make the cut to the second round. And at some point, Tim Plow said, you know what, I think we need to go back and take a look at this Jeanty kid again. They go back and look at him again at the urging of Tim Plow, and the rest is history. But Winston Venable and Kent Riddle, two coaches who both, I think, were unceremoniously, and I've said this publicly, they're both part of BNN at times. Both those guys kind of got the shaft a little bit in terms of the public perception of what happened and what happened behind the scenes. And those guys, long-time loyal Broncos, have been here a really long time. Winston, obviously a former player, came back as running backs coach, and then what Kent Riddle has done. But you want to look at like three guys that are no longer here that deserve a lot of credit for why we're standing here right now is Tim Plow, Winston Venable, and Kent Riddle, who handled the recruiting. Obviously Winston being the running backs coach, and Kent Riddle, his recruiting area is Texas. Those guys deserve a lot of credit.
You ever think that the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator that Andy Avalos originally hired are now up for coach of the year at their respective levels? Spencer Danielson at the FBS level and Tim Plow at the FCS level. That's pretty wild.
Not a bad set of coordinators.
And one of them got fired, and I'm not going to lie. Like, we probably had discussions if at least one of the other one was going to have, play calling duties taken away from him. But obviously we didn't know the full story. Let's just say that, because those guys are thriving in their new respective roles. And like I said, Tim Plow's got a championship game. And by the way, as long as we're talking about it,
yeah,
the Land Larison, absolutely robbed of being a finalist for the Walter Camp Award, which is like the FCS version of the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
He's got 1,400 yards
He's
rushing.
a local kid,
Valley View High School.
Yeah.
Covered him during
quarterback
the prep
for
days.
Tim Plow at UC Davis.
Running back.
Sorry.
So, yep, it's good. But 1,400 yards rushing, 800 yards receiving, and he was not named the finalist for the Walter Camp Award. Lane, you got robbed.
For one of the top FCS teams in the country.
Yeah, for one of the top FCS teams in the country. Yeah, you got robbed, but Tim Plow dialing it up for the Land Ram.
People are asking what the recruiting weekend. Do we have any details on that? We don't. I'm sure it's transfer portal season. Don't know the answer to that, but they did have to. And I remember I heard someone say it, but it's a pretty nice flex too for Spencer Danielson, where he's like, you know what, I can see on Thursday and Friday, and then I got to leave at noon because I'm going to watch my running back in the Heisman Trophy ceremony. Like, that's not a bad way to get some recruits maybe interested in coming here.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to spend too much time on this.
Look for me on ESPN at the Heisman ceremony tomorrow night. Then I'll call you back.
I don't know if there's a greater recruiting tool than that right there. And I don't know how much time we need to spend on this, but yesterday, obviously, Malachi Nelson jumps in the transfer portal.
I did want to bring that up at some point.
We have confirmed that, and also confirmed that it needs to be said, but he won't be with the team for the Fiesta Bowl.
Yep.
So,
Which before I ask about Nelson, what does that do for QB? Max Cutfort's now one play away from being the quarterback in the Fiesta Bowl.
That's pretty much it. And behind him, you have Colt Fulton and Caleb Annett. I mean, that's kind of what the quarterback room looks like right now. And so, Maddox Madsen's gonna really have to lead them into the college football playoff. And I really wish that I think they needed to take another look at this too. Now that there is a college football playoff, they've talked about. I don't know how serious the discussions are, and if we get the chance to ask the committee today, I'm certainly curious about it. Like, do you now move the Heisman after the college football playoff is complete? Do you move the transfer portal back now? Because now you're talking about kids that they're choosing not to be a part of a college football playoff team so that they go find playing time elsewhere.
Yeah.
I just wish there was a better way to set that up. And
the tough thing is the semester of school starting in January. It just makes it really tough.
I guess that's true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, by January 20th, when the college football playoff will be over, you're
2 weeks into the next semester at Boise State already. I don't know what you do.
It's just tough that you spend so much time and then you choose not to be a part of the college football playoff run. And I get why.
Yeah.
Like,
especially for a guy like Malachi Nelson, there's only certain spots available at teams that need quarterbacks. And I can tell you, he is going to go somewhere where, I hate to say it, but he is going to be almost assured of play. I don't think he's going somewhere to compete again. I think he's going to go somewhere where he really believes he's going to be the starting quarterback. And there was all kinds of outrage on social media yesterday. If you want to argue like back in August, they picked the wrong, if you want to say in August, hey, they should have gone with Nelson, who knows what he could have done, that's great. But right now, to argue that they made the wrong choice or that Maddox Madsen is not good enough to be the quarterback of this team, when you look at his stats, it's a crazy argument. We were even getting last couple of games, people still saying he should be benched. I have, Malachi Nelson, I have no doubt, could go somewhere and be a very good quarterback. Could he have done some, if not all, the things Maddox Madsen is doing? Maybe. We don't know. We didn't see it.
I can tell you this, and maybe I'll feel a little more comfortable about opening up about this now. They would have been in third and long a lot more than they were this season if Malachi was their quarterback. They would not be near the top of the country in sacks allowed if Malachi was their quarterback. They might have some more dynamic, explosive plays too, for that matter.
The 2-minute drill may not have been run as well.
But in terms of what this offense needed to do to give Ashton 344 carries, Maddox Madsen was the guy that would keep this offense on track and allow you to always utilize Ashton Jeanty. And I'm not trying to even knock Malachi. Like, you're right, man. I hope the kid goes in as an awesome career.
I think I think he has a chance to be.
We only talked to him once, right?
Maybe so, yeah, once or twice. I think maybe once, yeah.
So
I was looking forward to talking to him at the Fiesta Bowl. So.
Great kid. Like I hope
great family. His dad, Eric, great guy.
Absolutely. I hope he goes and finds success and has a great college football career ahead of him. But this team was built the way that it was built, and that was for Maddox Madsen to be the starting quarterback. And I don't care how you achieve it, man. 22 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That is a winning formula right there, especially with Ashton Jeanty.
He's going to get over. I mean, likely. I guess maybe not likely, but he's closing in on 3,000 passing yards. He needs about 250, I think, or something. So I mean, really I guess I wouldn't say that's likely, but he could get over 3,000 passing yards. The touchdown to interception ratio. I mean, he's top 30 in the country, I think, in QBR and some of that stuff. I mean, like I said, if you want to go back to August and say, hey, if they had just announced August 1st that Malachi's the guy and let this be his show, maybe they'd be here. I don't know. But that's what everyone says. They said, oh, he would do no worse than, they'd be at least where they're at now, if not undefeated. It's like, how do you know that? You haven't seen a single practice. You didn't see, and it's not just the practice, it's the meetings. It's all the other stuff that goes with it. I hope Malachi Nelson kills it, like you said. Good luck to him. But I do think he's going somewhere where, UCF's the intriguing one to me. The QB coach went down there, but I mean, I don't think if you're going to your third school in 3 years, you're wanting to play. And also the people that are saying, hey, he's not a competitor. He didn't want to stay and compete. Oh, this guy saw that on social media too. You know what? Like, you only have so many years in college. If you want to be an NFL quarterback, you only have so much time. And I don't care if they bring in Nate Potter, Matt Miller, somebody from the outside. You're not benching a quarterback that took your team to the college football playoff. The clear starter next year would be Maddox Madsen, no matter what he did to compete in the offseason. So I just don't buy the hate that he is getting for not being a competitor and stay and battle it out. This is a wuss society and all this. It's like, no, he's only got a certain amount of time. The kid wants to go play. I have no problem with him looking to go somewhere else because it was not going to be here.
Well, on top of that, too, Maddox is only a sophomore, man. Like, it could be a long time before you get an opportunity. And college football has evolved. Like, do I love some of the rules? No. But in this case, it also shouldn't surprise people that somebody that utilized the transfer portal because they weren't playing is now utilizing the transfer portal again because they're not playing. I mean, that is what this is. So,
two other coaching moves people are bringing up. What do you think of Dan Mullen to UNLV?
That one, I'm not going to lie, that one surprised me a little bit.
That's a nice get for them. I like it.
I think it's a nice get for them, and I think when you look at what Barry Odom established there, this is a way to still continue that momentum versus taking a step back. I was pretty surprised by that one, but I think that's a heck of a hire for them.
Yeah, no, they were set to kind of crash and burn after Odom left, and to get Dan Mullen, a name guy, and what he's going to do. I mean, Dan Mullen's going to be coaching on the Blue next year. Who would have thought that?
It's kind of funny because you go back and I think even like when the odds on the Vegas Bowl or LA Bowl initially opened up after Odom left, like I can't remember, Cal was favored by over a field goal, and now it's back to more of a pick 'em, and that was just after Mullen
who's not even coaching in the game.
But I still think it's going to rejuvenate players and whatnot and be like, hey, the program's okay moving forward.
And another one with local ties, Brian Harsin back in business at Cal with Justin Wilcox. That's a pretty cool story there. I mean, we heard the stories when they were both GAs together, and Brian Harsin told me once, like, him and Justin Wilcox were out there selling pizzas to the summer camp kids, to try to make a buck a pizza and just get through GA, duties. And now they're both, millionaire coaches, but to work together at Cal, interesting dynamic now that he's working for Justin Wilcox, but they're obviously, big ties, and I saw Cal, boasting that their record the 4 years together at Boise State, obviously, and I think it was 49-4 maybe in the 4 years they were together there. But that was that's going to be interesting to see. I knew he'd want to get back at some point, and maybe OC is more of, which is interesting that it wouldn't have ever considered a place like, you're going to go be OC. Why not be OC at a place back like Boise State? But him better than I do. I don't know if you've talked to him about that part or not, but OC at Cal, he just gets to coach football, focus, not deal with all the other stuff. I think it's a good fit for him.
I'm excited to see him back calling plays again, because he really thrived. As you said, 49-4 when him and Justin Wilcox were the offensive coordinator and defense coordinator at Boise State. And I think that Brian Harsin really likes calling plays. He's been pretty good at it. His success is hard to argue when it comes to that. And I know that Cal's quarterback hit the transfer portal recently as well, so I don't know if they can rope him back in. It sounds like he's getting pretty lucrative NIL offers at other schools around the country. But though you look at the track record of quarterback when Brian Harsin was at Boise State, whether it be Kellen Moore, Grant Hedrick, Brett Rippon. There was that year where it was like Jalen Henderson, Chase Cord, and Hank Bachmeier. All of them were always good, though. Like, always good. Like, especially the year where Hank was in and out of the lineup and they were using 3 different quarterbacks. The third-string quarterback went 4-0 and won the Mountain West Conference Championship game in Jalen Henderson. So Harsin knows how to develop QBs. And following 2 years away to recharge. I'm really excited to see how it goes.
Well, let's bring this back here. We've only got you for a couple more minutes here, and we're going to hear from James Montgomery coming up in a couple minutes. The media room is now open. They're passing out the credentials and things for the next couple of days here.
Our key cards?
I didn't because
oops.
I'm switching over to this hotel today, so that's another long story for
the finest details, right?
Heisman Trophy Marriott key card. That's
Our
pretty
key
cool.
cards,
That's pretty cool.
I don't know if I've ever kept a hotel key card, but I'm probably going to keep this one.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're passing out as I mentioned, the press conferences room is now open. They're going to get ready at 2:00. We'll talk to the 4 players here and a lot of other interviews and things. They said tomorrow morning we'll talk to Spencer Danielson, Jeremiah Dickey. Before I do forget though, what do we? I know you got a big special coming up. What's all the KTVB coverage here?
Tomorrow 5:00. We got the road to the Heisman half-hour special on KTVB. Ashton Jeanty's journey to New York, essentially, and then. We'll be live throughout the day, whether 4, 6, and 10, and then we'll hit you in the morning show tomorrow, and we'll just see how crazy it gets after the Heisman Trophy is announced tomorrow night, if you will, right, BJ? So hopefully we got a lot to celebrate out, and we burn the midnight oil into Sunday morning with Heisman Trophy coverage. Yeah, the
Eastern time zone when you got to go live at 10 Mountain, not ideal.
No, it's not. Yeah, like I said, like when we got here, I was getting ready to do our live shot during the news at 10, and it hit me that it was like after midnight here, and like it was just
we
packed.
landed at 9:40 and you're like, I still got 2 hours or whatever. I was like, oh
weird.
My god.
Yeah. So it kind of plays with you, but I like this though because it always feels like you just basically operate on your Boise time clock, and then you're always 2 hours ahead. So that's good in my opinion.
Put this in perspective for us though, Jay. The last 30 minutes, sum this up. Ashton Jeanty, already 2 prestigious awards last night, a chance to immortalize himself even more tomorrow night.
If Ashton Jeanty were to win the Heisman Trophy, it would be the most significant individual athletic honor in the history of our state. We've had gold medalists, which is amazing. Kristen Armstrong, a 3-time gold medalist, and now as I say it, maybe the gravity of that got away from me a little bit. But there are multiple athletes that go to the Olympics. There's one Heisman Trophy, and you only have one shot each year to win a Heisman Trophy. It would be, in my opinion, the most significant individual athletic achievement in the history of our state.
And how do you does last night results change your thinking at all, or do we still think, unfortunately, Travis is the favorite here? Or
I still do think Travis is the favorite, but I can't wait to see if Ashton Jeanty winds up as the people's champ and takes the popular vote.
Either way, KTVB will have you covered, and we appreciate Jay. He's got a lot going on, so we're going to let him bounce. But, Jay, appreciate you as always for stopping by. We're going to hear from James Montgomery, the running backs coach, in just a second, but I want to thank a couple of our great sponsors here at Bronco Nation News, including Western Collective, the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the Orange Chaos Seltzer. Make sure you check them out. Western Collective, our studio sponsor here at Bronco Nation News, and they're having a watch party for the Fiesta Bowl, so make sure you head over and join them for the Fiesta Bowl watch party, and that'll be at Western Collective's brewery there in Garden City. Our title sponsor is roepaint.com, roepaint.com. Check them out, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. Roepaint.com. They're the best in the business, whether it's those concrete coatings, those interior, exterior painting. Check them out. We appreciate our title sponsor, roepaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union. Again, James Montgomery, Boise State running backs coach, coming up here shortly. ICCU, check them out. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. Check them out. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. They're back for another year at Bronco Nation News, and we appreciate them. Matt Bauscher also got word that he's back for another year. Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley, is Matt Bauscher for a reason. When you buy or sell a home from Matt, you get to know everybody there in that picture because they're all part of the team. So Bauscher Real Estate, check them out online, bauscherrealestate.com. And everybody's got 5 friends in town that are realtors, but I can personally, per firsthand experience, tell you won't find better service than what you get from Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. Check them out as well. Shopridleys.com. They got locations across the Treasure Valley, across the state of Idaho, across surrounding states as well. Ridley's Family Markets. Get up to 40% off at the checkout line using their Skip app. And again, that is our friends at Ridley's Family Markets. We are here continuing our live coverage on Bronco Nation News from the Heisman Trophy ceremony. I see folks getting their credentials and stuff behind us. I had a chance back in Boise. Again, keep those comments coming. Keep those thoughts coming on the Heisman race, Ashton Jeanty. And again, we're going to speak with Ashton Jeanty this afternoon. Travis Hunter, all the Heisman finalists will be made available to the media today and tomorrow. So even though this is our live show for the day, we'll have a ton of other coverage that we put onto social media and YouTube and things later today. And looking at doing maybe a special live show tomorrow as well. If we can lock down the time and maybe get Spencer Danielson to join us live tomorrow morning. We'll see if we can make that work. But either way, we'll get those interviews on the YouTube page and things like that. So subscribe and join us if you can. We're going to hear from James Montgomery in just a second, but we've really appreciated the uptick in subscriptions and things. Man, taking the Uber ride with all of our equipment last night from the airport, I could use about 3 of you to subscribe today to balance that out. But just too much equipment for the subway, and Uber rides here apparently are not cheap. So appreciate all of you that have subscribed the last couple of weeks. It's been a nice uptick here. So if you're able to help us out, all the travel expenses and things to New York and the Fiesta Bowl coming up, BNN 50 deal at the bottom of the screen gives you that promo code, gives you a 1-year subscription to Bronco Nation News for $50. So if you can help us out and subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. BNN 50 deal. You get exclusive content from Mike Prater, Nathan Carroll, myself, a daily email, all kinds of good stuff. We'd love to have you join the club, join the fastest online growing community of Boise State fans at Bronco Nation News. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to my son, Naismith. He is under the weather and dealing with some stuff, but he's fighting hard to get back. And I love you, bud. And it was fun to FaceTime with you this morning. And I know he's watching right now while he's unable to do a lot else. So was tough leaving you and leaving him for a couple days and leaving the family. But shout out to my wife, Karen, doing an amazing job helping everything out back in Boise. And love you, bud. And I hope you continue to feel good and that you'll be up and moving around in no time. So just wanted to give a shout out to you, bud, because I'm thinking about you and can't wait to get home and see you on Sunday. Let's hear from James Montgomery, the running backs coach at Boise State. I was able to speak with him back in Boise one-on-one. I met up with James on Wednesday in the facility there. So James Montgomery, the Boise State running backs coach, one-on-one on what it's like coaching Ashton Jeanty, what's all kinds of topics about Ashton Jeanty. And James Montgomery will be here tomorrow. He's flying up tonight, so he will be at the ceremony. May even get a chance to talk to him again tomorrow. But here is James Montgomery, Boise State running backs coach, on Ashton Jeanty at the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
I mean, it's super exciting just to see all the work that he's put in and, that all the work that we've collectively put in together and just to see it all come to fruition. It's a really cool experience.
You think back to, when he decides to come back and then just the spring and the summer and all the goals and stuff. I mean, this is the dream, but it never often plays out like the dream was. Just to see it kind of work out the way it has. How do you just kind of think about the last, 10, 11 months?
Oh man, it's been crazy because you always have those aspirations, those goals and those dreams. And then when the Heisman campaign came out and for just to see all the work that he put in to get to that moment was just the crazy part about it. And just to how he fought through adversity each and every week with ankle sprains, elbow sprains, different things every week, and he came out and he brought it every single Saturday, and he never wavered, and so it was just really cool to see. And obviously got a little help from the man upstairs, and so that always helps out. So,
with the campaign and all that, I mean, I don't know if you were part of that or you found out they were doing it or what, but I mean, I remember the UCLA game, the T-shirts come out, and that was kind of the start of it, right then. That's pretty gutsy to do that as a group of 5 running back, to come out and do all that and make this, and then to have it work out the way it has. Like I said, it's pretty rare somebody can live up to the hype, so to speak. I mean,
yeah.
How do you just kind of look at that angle of it, and just the fact that the school kind of went all in, he went all in, the first game of the season doing the Heisman pose, and then now here he is in New York.
Without a doubt. I mean, I get to see all the behind the scenes work, and from last January, working through spring ball, working through summer workouts, working through fall camp, he was one speed, and you'll hear him talk about it. He was literally dark mode. He didn't do anything. All he did was make sure he was eating right, make sure he was working out, make sure that every part of his game he wanted to grow it. And so halfway through the spring, he wanted to learn line calls, and then we dug into protection more, and then we dug into each and every run scheme and saw, if he didn't know a piece about it, he wanted to know exactly what it was. And so we dug into all aspects of his game. We talked about where we could work on this, where his footwork or how we could press things differently, how odd front, versus the even front is going to change your angles of your zone schemes, and how gap schemes are, they're always going to hit a little bit faster. And then, we basically dug into his whole game, and he wanted to just keep learning and growing, and that's what you want to see as a coach. And so we went from 201 to 301 to football 501, And then just to see him go out there and apply it, that's the natural beauty of it, because a lot of times he'd be out there and it would just be like poetry in motion, mixed with his skill set, mixed with his mindset. And as a coach, you can't ask for anything more.
There's so many different aspects to it. We've heard so much about the leadership, and I heard Spencer telling a story about like fall camp or spring, or one like a, you know, when it's not that serious, but like one they call a players only meeting because they weren't kind of doing it the right way, and did a walkthrough, like just that's pretty rare, I think, from that side of it too, the off the field part, the team leader. And you know, haven't heard a bad player say a bad thing about him as a teammate. I mean, just how the fact that everybody loves him and he's doing everything right behind the scenes too, and in the locker room. How do you explain that?
Well, we, like, going into this season, we knew he was going to be the guy, and so he was the guy last season, but we challenged him on the leadership part, because, you know, he was a sophomore, you know, going into his junior year, and we said, hey, bro, this is your team, and you make this go however you want it to go. And we're in fall camp. We had a couple, you know, lower days of practice. We're in the dog days, and he said, hey, I'm going to take this thing over, and I'm going to bring everybody in, and no coaches have to be in here. And from that point on, there was no calling it. He's the leader of this team. He's the leader of this program. And after they came out of that meeting, I don't think we had another bad practice in fall camp. You know, they were just driven, and he showed them his drive, and he put that into everybody else on this team, and he's special, man.
I know you weren't part of his recruitment, so to speak, but what do you remember of your early impressions of your first couple times seeing his tape, talking to him, just getting to know him a little bit?
I can give you my first impression. So I was here for his first 100-yard game, and so, except I was on the other sideline, and so once I saw how they beat us. I think they beat us 40-20 when I was at Fresno in the first game. And I think he had 20 carries for like 109, probably 2 touchdowns, but he iced us in the 4-minute drill as well. He closed the game out. And so I went back and I'm looking and I'm like, this kid can't be a true freshman. So I was just going through his path and seeing if he redshirted. And then when I saw he was a true freshman that came in January, made that type of leap. And then you fast forward a couple months, I got the opportunity to come coach him. I knew, you know, if I could get his skill set and, you know, my teaching abilities with that, we could do something special. And we started doing that last year because, I mean, he didn't have a slouch season as a sophomore. And then for us, that's always my goal, is to make sure how can I get you better? And for him to go from what he had last year and double that up, it's phenomenal, and that's where you really want to see is that growth as a coach.
I know people joke about it, but with the NIL game and all this stuff, like, oh, the players are making more than their position coaches, or all this kind of stuff, and
he deserves it.
I mean, but some guys don't know how to handle that, and they go off in different directions. And we hear about him buying meals for his old linemen and giving the gift cards from the sandwich shop back to the other players, and just that kind of. How has he seemingly been the same person this last year, even though I think a lot of things have changed for him?
Well, we're not gonna. I mean, we, especially in the RB room, we do a good job of keeping him down to earth. But his family does a heck of a job with him, and they're such down to earth people, hardworking, just super solid people, and they weren't gonna let any of the success go to his head, because he's only got more coming, and we talk about that all the time. You know, like, it's cool. You know, he's the mayor of Boise right now, but. You know, we're gearing him up to be, you know, a first-round draft pick, and so him getting this taste of it now, when only more is coming, and so he's going to know how to handle it. He handles it well right now, and moving forward in the future, he's going to know how to handle it. But he just stays consistent. He's a solid person, and he stays the same no matter what the situation is.
On the field, what's been the most impressive thing that he's done?
It's just when you see the drill to the skill, man. Just the stuff he does in practice. I mean, you're around practice quite a bit, BJ, so you can tell, you know, the drills that I work, and he applies it directly. I can work a jump cut drill, I can work, you know, an inside zone drill, I can work some type of footwork drill, pass protection, and when he gets put in that situation again, he applies it directly. And that's what you love to see as a coach, just the drill to the skill. But he just does it at a very elite level, and he's not a very high rep guy. He can recall things that we've done weeks before, and then you can just boom, hey, Ash, it's like this, and he's rolling. And so that's what makes him so special, is whatever you tell him, whatever you teach him, he's going to apply it directly.
As the season went on, and early on, the team started, you know, there was that 3 or 4 or 5 game stretch where they literally just did nothing but try to stop him. Yeah. What was just seeing how defenses were trying to stop him, and just what, as the season went on, how he continued to put up the numbers and do what he did. How do you just kind of look at his season overall?
I mean, it was amazing. The consistency, I mean, his focus that he brought every week. And we, as more and more bodies got to the box, you know, we just talked about being more precise and more efficient with what we can. And so, you know, we can't get frustrated. And so a lot of it was just like, hey, there's going to be some bodies in there. Trust the O-line. Just keep running your tracks, and it's going to pop. And so it was just really stay consistent, and we have a really good relationship, and so we have that trust. And so when I tell him stuff, I could tell he'd be getting frustrated in games. I just smile at him like, hey, bro, like there's nothing you can do about it. But it opened up a lot of things for other pieces in our offense, and that's always awesome.
Have you ever seen in your years of coaching like so much scheme, like defense, whatever, to try to stop one guy like that?
Nah, I haven't. And that's the beauty of having the tablet on the sideline. Sometimes we'd be out there and I'd see certain things starting to happen, and you know, I'd be like, hey, if you see this look again right here, do this. And we get it done a couple times, and especially in the Wazoo game, they had a lot of bodies up there, and you know, he got his chance to showcase some of the things we talked about on the sideline, and he did it, you know, very, very seamlessly.
Maybe that's the answer to my next question, because he had a couple big ones in that game. But do you have a favorite Ashton Jeanty run from this year?
Yeah, I do. It was probably the first one versus Wazoo, where he broke like 6 tackles through the middle, and then he came running up the sideline right there. That one, both Wazoo game, the one, well, he had 3, that one that I really love. So I love this first one. I love the counter that he bounced, and then he does a little skip step, and then he dunks the ball into the end zone. And then the one in the red zone where he broke like 8 tackles on a outside zone play, he gets vertical. His footwork is impeccable. And then just the contact balance and the mentality to just not be denied. And so I could just feel it that whole week going into that game. He was gonna be a different person, and you don't want to see Ash on fire. Like
I know people talk about the strength and the toughness and how much he can bench and squat and all that stuff, but and then people will see the videos go viral without his shirt on, you know, when it's 20 degrees outside.
Oh, yeah.
But just to, I mean, to talk about taking 30 carries a game is one thing. To take 30 plus carries, you know, 7 out of 8 games or whatever it's been here, and the beating, and we saw the elbow injury and stuff. I mean, just what can you put into context? Maybe this is even a better question for after the season's over, but just what he's dealt with physically this year, and how, when you factor in what he's doing with where he's at physically, just how impressive that part is.
Well, when you think about it, he's a throwback, man. You haven't seen this type of production in a long while. I mean, you think about the Barry Sanders, the Emmitt Smiths, the LaDainian Tomlinsons, and you know, in that realm right there. But what he did this year, other than last year, is he took such good care of his body. And so he was proactive when he wasn't hurt, and then he was still, you know, when he had to go in there, he already had his routine. And so when he had to go get his treatment, when he did have his little nicks, he already had the process that he was going through each and every week. And so he'd do his soft tissue work, make sure his ankles were getting his mobility, making sure his hammies were getting rolled out, making sure he was getting in the hot, cold tub. And so that was the main thing. He was just a pro with his body. And so when the stress on his body did start to take a toll, he was ready for it.
Why should Ashton Jeanty win the Heisman Trophy?
I mean, for what he's done for this team, I mean, to thrust us into the playoffs, his production, his consistency, and then just the person he is. He's a model for the, you know, I mean, for the Heisman. And I'm not taking anything away from, you know, from anybody else. There's some really good competition in the Heisman, and so I just, you know, for me, I do have a little bit of bias there. I get to work with him every day, but I totally think he deserves it.
And what's this going to mean for you as his position coach to be able to be there in New York for this moment?
I mean, you might hear me on the TV if he wins it. I might yell, but you know, but nah, just super proud of him, man. Just to be, you know, be a part of this journey with him, and to see him, you know, growing to develop into the young man he is. He just turned 21 a week ago. And to see he's accomplishing all his goals and aspirations, that's all you could ask for as a coach.
All right, I guess final thing, how scary is 23 days of rest for Ashton Jeanty?
I think we all need it. You can hear it in my voice right now, but we're all a little bit sick from this last little, you know, 6 weeks run we had, but it's going to be awesome for him. You know, get a little rest and recovery for him, get a chance to, you know, see who we're going to play, and then get ready and get it dialed in. He'll be ready to go.
Thanks.
No problem.
There he is, James Montgomery, Boise State running backs coach, speaking with us here at Bronco Nation News. If you missed any of that interview, we will get it up on the YouTube channel. We'll get our other interviews up as well. Tyler Crow, Zion Washington. I will play the Tyler Crow interview here in a few minutes. Somebody said I ran over and got my press credential. I actually did. There you go, the Heisman media credential right there. So Nissan Heisman. Make sure you get that correct there. But there's the credential, and when I haven't done it in a while, but I have when you're kind of a young reporter, one of the things to do is like take all your press credentials and put them into a frame. And I haven't updated it in a while, but I do have one with the NBA draft, the NFL draft, some of the cool things, the World Series that I've got to cover. And I think putting the Heisman Trophy into the may have to pop up in there at some point. That's pretty cool to and it's it's a job obviously, but job takes you some pretty cool places. And here we are in New York City for the Heisman Trophy ceremony again. The schedule for the next couple of days. They will do a press conference about 2:00 local time here, so noon back in Boise. About noon, there will be a press conference. All 4 of the finalists will be broken off into the room separately. You'll be able to go up and take a mic and talk to some of the different players. Look forward to talking to Travis Hunter and Cam Ward and Dylan Gabriel. We are expected to get a short one-on-one interview with Ashton Jeanty after that as well. So looking forward to catching up with Ashton. But we've heard from Ashton a lot. I honestly am a little, looking forward to talking to Travis Hunter and some of these other finalists as well and get their thoughts from afar on Ashton Jeanty and what he's done this season, because it truly is remarkable. So someone's saying maybe it's a little quieter on the interviews. If that's the case, I apologize. The interview may be a little lower. So when we play Tyler Crow, you may need to turn the volume back up on your computer or TV where you're watching. Then when I come on, you can turn it down. I am a loud talker, but also the interviews were a little quiet. I apologize. James Montgomery is not exactly the loudest talking guy in the room either. So when we get to Tyler Crow, turn the sound up. And then when I come on, you can turn the sound back down. But that is the schedule for today. The press conference is at 2:00. As I mentioned, there'll be some other media obligations. I will be joining Prater in the ball game today, 5:00 Mountain Time for a primetime Friday segment, 5:00 Mountain Time. I'll be joining Prater in the ball game from here in New York. And then tomorrow, busy day. I think we may do a little live show. We'll let you know on that. But if not, we're supposed to talk to Spencer Danielson, Jeremiah Dickey. We'll try to make that happen and go live maybe tomorrow morning. There is a ball talk show. People were asking. There's a live ball talk tomorrow at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. So we may piggyback off that and just have kind of a live ball talk edition from the Heisman ceremony. And maybe I'll jump in for a while and give some thoughts, observations, and maybe get Jeremiah Dickey or Mike Sanford will be there, and John Mallory, but Spencer Danielson maybe as well. So we'll have some different guests join us and things maybe tomorrow throughout the day, but definitely a good time to make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're going to have all kinds of interviews and content dumped onto the YouTube channel. So make sure you check the BNN YouTube channel. All of our interviews and all of our content here will go on the YouTube channel if we don't necessarily have a live broadcast. And we'll get the full interviews with Tyler Crow, Zion Washington, and James Montgomery, in addition to Jeremiah and Spencer, up on the YouTube channel here this afternoon. I want to play the interview with Tyler Crow, but I first do want to thank a couple of our sponsors here. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game, locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. So if you're looking for a spa, you're looking for a pool table for the game room, maybe a sauna, they got you covered. Check them out online. View their full inventory at thespateam.com, or check out one of their 4 locations. Love the Boise and Meridian location, but check them out. Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa, thespateam.com. The weather's turning cold, icy, snowy back in Boise. Make sure you have an all-wheel drive vehicle for the winter conditions, and you can get that at Lithia Ford of Boise. Go online, lithiafordboise.com, view their full inventory of vehicles, and do what the Raines family did. Do your research ahead of time and pick out the 2 or 3 you like. Go in, test drive them, and the process is much easier, and you're on your way much faster than you typically would be. So check them out, Lithia Ford of Boise. And again, they have 6 student athletes at Boise State on NIL deals, coaches, administrators. They're one of the biggest supporters of Boise State athletics. So return the favor for your next car or truck purchase and make it at Lithia Ford of Boise. Taco Bell, you hungry? Well, head on out to Taco Bell. I think I still have breakfast going back in Boise. TacoBellWorks.com. You can get more information on all their charitable giving efforts. And they do a lot of them in terms of the endowed scholarship money for the men's and women's basketball teams at Boise State. And they are hiring as well. That same website, TacoBellWorks.com. You get more information on applying for a job, or just go into one of the locally owned Taco Bell locations in Boise, the Treasure Valley locations. They've got the paperwork right there on the table when you walk in. So great promotional benefits, free food while you work, half the wages the next day after your shift. Highly recommend a career at Taco Bell. And we appreciate the SON Management Group and the Nicolason family. They have re-upped for another year as well. So we appreciate our friends at Taco Bell. Hey, did you get your Please Count Us Out shirt yet? You can order it at the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. They'll have them in person, I believe, starting today. So go in today or this afternoon. They're supposed to get in all the Fiesta Bowl gear. The Mountain West Championship gear is in, but the Fiesta Bowl gear, including that Please Count Us Out shirt, using Spencer Danielson's phrase, you can get that at the Blue and Orange Store online. You can order it at theblueandorangestore.com anywhere in the world, and they'll get it to you before Christmas, get it to you before the game. But if you're in the Boise area, just go to the Boise Town Square Mall there, the second floor next to Pro Image. And I love that Please Count Us Out shirt, all the Fiesta Bowl gear, perfect Christmas gift. And you got a lot of choices and options when you're looking for your Boise State gear. But if you want the best selection, the best prices, check out the Blue and Orange Store and theblueandorangestore.com. And they have the Ashton Jeanty gear as well. So make sure you check out the Blue and Orange Store. All your Boise State gear, whether it's NIL gear, whether it's all the various Boise State shirts, hats, they got it all at the Blue and Orange Store and the blueandorangestore.com. We are here at the Marriott Marquis Hotel in Times Square here in New York City, having a great time. We appreciate all of our sponsors for making this trip possible, as we've been telling you about them. So support the sponsors, folks. Do you want to watch, a free show on YouTube like this, Facebook, Twitter? Make sure you support the sponsors and, go have lunch at Taco Bell or buy your gear at the Blue and Orange Store and switch your bank over and all that good stuff. So we appreciate all of our sponsors, all of our subscribers for making this trip possible here to cover the Heisman Trophy ceremony, and not a cheap expense, as you can imagine. So if you want to subscribe, we'd love to have you. BNN 50 deal. BNN 50 deals, that promo code you put in at the bottom of the screen. You get $20 off your first year to Bronco Nation News. I know Mike Prater is penning a column on who he voted for the Heisman. That's going to come out right after the ceremony ends. So you can read about Mike Prater and who has a Heisman vote, who he voted for. And that'll come out after the ceremony. And you can read that if you're a paying member of Bronco Nation News. So let's hear from Tyler Crow. He is the running, teammate, friend, position mate, in terms of a running back. Tyler Crow, been here for all 3 years of the Ashton Jeanty era. Met him back when they were recruiting him, and they've become pretty good friends with all the TikTok dances and things. Let's hear Tyler Crow, Boise State running back, one-on-one on Wednesday with Bronco Nation News on what it's like for his friend and his teammate to be here in New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
I mean, I'm just first off super happy for the kid, ever since he showed up on campus. He's been one of the hardest working guys on the team. This year he's really stepped into that leadership role, and it's awesome to see all of his hard work come to fruition and everything like that. So yeah.
When the shirts came out at the UCLA Bowl and they started this Heisman campaign, what was the first thing you thought of?
The first thing I thought of is, he's the best player I've played with, best player out of all the teams we've played against. So yeah, I thought he was very deserving of all the Heisman hype, and I think the team kind of knew he was going to be in New York come this time of year. So yeah, it was kind of just expected.
But from the outside, it really wasn't expected in terms of a group of 5 running back. Yeah, he had a good season, but this is the Heisman Trophy. That was kind of gutsy, of him, the school, whatever, to so early make this public. This is what I want. This is the campaign. This is it. They sent out all the stuff, and first game he does the Heisman post right away. Just what is that about him? I guess that he knew he could back it up.
When you really think about it, last year, he wasn't even really our true, number one starting running back, and he was the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year. So, he knew as long as everyone else, with the talent he had around him and the hard work that he's put in, that he was capable of great things this year, and it's really come to light.
What's he like in the meeting rooms and stuff?
He's awesome. It's pretty lighthearted in the running back room. Coach Jamont's an awesome coach. Make sure we're on top of our stuff, but it's pretty lighthearted. If anything, I would say he's like the dad of the group, and I'm like the funkle, So me and him are kind of the two leaders in there, and yeah, it's been an awesome year together working with everyone in that room.
And I've heard a lot of times the star player, some people don't like him. He gets the attention, he gets the money, and he scores all the touchdowns, whatever. But I've yet to find anybody that doesn't like him. What is that true? And what is it about him that every player on the team literally feels the same way about him?
Yeah, I think you gotta give some testament to his parents. I think he was raised in a really strict household. He was raised the right way, and it's really shown up through him. He's a great young man. My girlfriend says every time she talks to him, he's super quiet and almost shy. Which is, you don't really see that as Ashton Jeanty Heisman winner, but he's a really truly humble kid. Works super hard, and it hasn't changed him at all.
The leadership part of it too, like I heard he called players only meetings at times and has really taken on that role too. Like what is it about him that he's, we see what he does on the field, but there's a lot more to him.
I mean, just from the moment that he announced that he was coming back this next year, it was his team, and he had to lead it and make sure we were all on the same mission. And he's done a great job as well as all the other seniors and leaders on the team have done a great job of we're right where we wanted to be all year, and this is what we worked for all offseason. So, yeah.
How crazy is it that all the dreams, all the goals, like it actually happened? Like here he is going to New York for the Heisman ceremony. Here he is, 131 yards from Barry Sanders. Like you guys are in the playoff. Like just this, I mean, all the goals you had a year ago like actually happened. Like, well, it's pretty surreal.
Yeah, I think for everyone on the team, we're just like, take a step back right now and just take it all in. It's been awesome what this year has come to, but we're not done yet, and we still have a lot of goals ahead of us.
For him though, I mean, what, like 20 years from now when you're telling your kids, yeah, I played with that dude, like what are you gonna, like what is like this lasting kind of impact that he'll have on you and things you'll always think about? I
mean, I think they're gonna freaking build a statue of him in this city, like Ashton, just the impact he's had on my life is he's brought like a great 6 year around this program. He's been an even better friend to me. Me and him hang out all the time. We've got to know each other a bunch, and he's gonna be one of my best friends for life. So yeah, it's really awesome that not only is he like such a great player, but he's such a good person on top of it.
How have you seen him handle kind of the stardom of the last year? I mean, last year obviously had a big year, but he was splitting time with George, whatever.
Right.
He gets the big NIL deal. He comes back. It's all about him. He said it's his team. Like, how has he been the same person? I mean, obviously he's probably obviously riding around in a little nicer vehicle, maybe some nicer shoes. But I mean, how have you seen him kind of deal with all this?
I mean, yeah, if you just even back to the start of the year, his life has changed so much in the matter of like just a few months, and he's handled it really good. He tried to sign as many pictures and take as many autographs, take as many pictures as he can. But it's had to like come down to times where like he's had to say no. Like we'll be eating breakfast together in the mornings, and people will barge in there and try to get a picture, take our morning walks, or just if we go out to eat every Thursday. Right back, so like it's hard to even like sit down without people coming up to the table every 2 seconds. But he's handled it great. He's always been super polite to all the fans and lets them know like we'll get an autograph, probably just not right now, or and then it really hasn't changed him at all.
In terms of how much of a physical specimen that he is, I mean, just someone that plays the position, man, knowing the wear and tear of 30 plus carries, 7 out of 8 games, whatever it's been, just how impressive has that been? Just he continues to ring the bell, and even when he had the elbow injury and stuff, he just taped it up and said, I'm back in on the next series. Like, just it seems like it's just pretty rare what he's doing right now.
I mean, yeah, touch of the ball 30 times of the game, week in and week out, is absolutely amazing, especially at the running back position. The wide receiver position, you catch a ball, there's only like 1 or 2 guys making the tackle. Every single time he gets the ball, all 11 guys are coming down trying to make the tackle. And it is super impressive. If you could like build a prototype running back, I don't think you could build one as good as Ashton. He's durable, he's fast, athletic, strong. Yeah, can catch the ball. He really does it all. It's impressive how he does it week in and week out.
What about watching how the defenses, after those first couple of games, really just turn their attention to 100% stopping him? The 8, 9, 10-man boxes, and maybe every run wasn't going for the 30, 40, 50 yards, but he kept breaking them, kept popping them, and you look up and there he is with another 175-yard game. I mean, just knowing what you do about the position, what was it like seeing some of these teams going all out to try to stop them, and they couldn't?
I mean, it's crazy. We haven't really seen a whole lot of 2 high safeties ever since the first couple games. Like you said, it's always 1 high, other safeties coming down in the box. And, I mean, kudos to those guys because, I always say we can't let the best player beat you. But he's managed to work around that, and that people can try to slow him down. But I still think his, least game this year is 130 yards. So I don't know if you even want to consider that getting slowed down. It's pretty awesome what he's doing.
I've been asking people their favorite Ashton Jeanty run, but they're all saying the Washington State game. So you can't pick any runs in the Washington State game. What other run or two stands out to you as one of your favorites?
Well, one of the more impressive runs actually from last week, Oregon State week, let's just put it that way, was Cage had just missed the block, and that hardly ever happens, but he did miss the block. It was a mid-zone to the left, and as Ashton's getting the ball, the defensive end's hitting him. he spun off it, reverse field, and still made explosive run 15 yards the other way. And that's just super impressive, like the long runs are great and everything, but just the way he never gets tackled by the first guy and just can grind out yards, like regardless of where he's at on the field and everything, is just super impressive to me.
Is he almost too durable? Because you guys aren't getting as many carries out there.
I'm here for it, man. Like I'll give him a tap when he needs one and give him a breather. But I love it. It's almost like I get to be a fan and a player at the same time. Just get to enjoy the whole Ashton Jeanty era.
Yeah, how much did you guys embrace this, especially down the stretch? I mean, they would put another guy in for a carry on like second down, or they wouldn't have him in there, and then third and goal or whatever, he'd come jogging back out there, and you hear the crowd go crazy.
Yeah.
And then you hear the Heisman chants and all that. Like, how much? I mean, you said it's his team. Like, obviously, you all want to score, do your thing, but how much is it like? Yeah, he's our guy, and he's the one that needs to be out there and doing all this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm probably Ashton's #1 fan when it comes to it. Friends, fan, competitor, all that together, and it's really awesome to see what he's done, because I've been around this program for 6 years and then watched it forever, and just see what he's done for this program in this city has just been really an awesome moment for me, and I'm just taking it all in, man.
What do you remember about the first time you ever met him or saw him, or first time you saw him carry a football or his film? Or?
So the first time I met him, it was just like through workouts and everything. Like we've always been like two of the stronger guys on the team, so we always working out the same rack together. But I do remember I was telling Johnny this. We had our first live scrimmage in the spring. He was 17 or 18 at the time, however old he was, in the spring, his first semester here, and he ran all over our defense. I actually had a really good scrimmage too. I just remember it was like, dang, like this kid's like freaking 17 years old, and he's like giving it to JL, Tyreek, Scott, the really good defense at the time, and he was running all over those guys. So it was really impressive. I'm like, this kid, I remember I even texted my dad, and he was like, you said like this kid's going to be the real deal. So yeah, it's awesome to see that he just continued to work hard, and it's come to light. Yeah.
He's got the sandwich, he's got the snowplow, he had Barry Sanders, tweeting about him. He had, he's on College Game Day, all these interviews. Like, what's been the craziest or most surreal part of all this for you?
Well, part of like NIL deals and stuff, his little underwear brand, we were all giving him a super hard time about that one. We're like, oh, all right, man. But
he gave you a couple pairs at least?
Yeah. He said he would, so he better come through. But yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, he always gets gear sent to him like every day from different groups and everything, and he likes to share that with his teammates and the coaches. Like there's been a lot of stuff that he could just take for himself that he ends up sharing with a lot of the guys. So it's awesome that he's a team first guy and really takes care of the guys like that.
And I know it was kind of a formality, but to see him be named a finalist, and what's it going to be like for you this weekend, seeing him in New York and watching him at the Heisman ceremony?
I mean, it's really awesome. Him, Jay Mont, Coach D, Jeremiah Dickey, those are all like big people in my life, and it's going to be really cool seeing them in New York, and hopefully seeing Ashton win the Heisman. I think he 1,000% should. So yeah.
Well, why should he?
I mean, if you just watch the games, it's really surreal, like how much this offense goes through him. There hasn't really been, there's no other team in the country right now that goes through one player like we do with Ashton Jeanty, and it's led us to the college football playoffs, Mountain West champion, first 11-1 season in I don't know how long in Boise State. So yeah, he's 100% deserving of the award.
And how scary should 23 days of rest be for whoever you guys play for him?
Yeah, I mean, just not only him. Just there's a bunch of guys on the team that needed the rest, needed the break, and yeah, it's gonna be awesome going in that game fully healthy and fully ready to get after whoever we play in the Fiesta Bowl.
And I guess final thing, the Heisman, just his season, like it's just been a storybook. How for you as a friend, you said you're gonna be friends for life. Just what's this whole thing meant to you, been like to you, when he goes on to the next level and you still follow him there and see him do his thing, like just what to be a part of this and just be a part of this and be here for this season with him, and to now know that you have a friend for life, and just with what he's done. How do you sum this all up?
Probably just gotta sum it up by that's the reason you come to Boise State. Come to Boise State to get developed as a man, meet some fantastic people, not only from this team that I've met, but previous teams and alumni. I've met some absolutely great people through this program. And then you can come to Boise State to play in the big games, just finishing up at the Fiesta Bowl, hopefully some more games after that. And it's really been a great experience for me.
Well, there he is, Tyler Crow. And we appreciate Tyler Crow. Hey, we're going to hear from Zion Washington in a minute, too. We'll keep this thing going as long as you guys want to keep watching and have the comments rolling here in New York City. But I want to tell you about a couple more of our great sponsors that made this trip possible. Transportation Compliance Service. Check them out, transcompservice.com. If you're looking to get into the trucking industry, they can help you every step of the way. The DOT permits, everything you need to get out there towing that first load. Check them out. Maybe you've never thought of the trucking industry, but I highly recommend it. The trucking industry is booming right now, coming off the pandemic. So if you are thinking about a new job, think about TCS, Transportation Compliance Service. Thanks to our friends at Jackson's. They are back for another year as a sponsor of Bronco Nation News starting in January. And there is the big basketball game tomorrow night against St. Mary's. We'll touch on that here in a minute. But starting in January, you get a hot dog and a soda for $2 whenever the Broncos score at least 70 points. So 70 points happens pretty much every game. That means twice a week you could be getting a hot dog and a soda for $2 from our friends at Jackson's. And don't forget, 25 cents from every hot dog sold, and the donation they're getting ready to make is like $100,000. They're making a ton of money donation from that. So 25 cents goes a long way. You buy a hot dog, 25 cents goes to support the Horseshoe Collective at Boise State. Speaking of food, how about Lean Feast? LeanFeastMeridian.com. Check them out. 10,000 plus combinations, all healthy, different kinds of diets. It's all customizable. You pay by the weight. It's good in your refrigerator for 5 days, and they deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley. So you can just order it, have it delivered, and then take it to work with you, pop it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and you're eating steak, shrimp, chicken, all that good stuff. Make sure you check them out. LeanFeastMeridian.com. Hey, we want some voicemails. If you got some voicemails on Ashton Jeanty, on anything Boise State related, we'll play those on the Signature Roofing voicemail line. You just go to speakpipe.com/BNN. It's real easy, right there from your phone, right there from your computer, and you can leave us a voicemail, and we will play those on the show. They're brought to you by Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades. Check them out, mysignatureroofing.com. Whether it's a re-roof, whether it's a repair, whether it's a inspection, an estimate, they can take care of all your roofing needs. Been around for more than 2 decades, and just a great, friendly staff over there, and the Raines family is loving our new roof. So check them out, mysignatureroofing.com. We do have a Ball Talk show coming up tomorrow, as I mentioned. Heisman Trophy Saturday edition of Ball Talk. That will be tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., I believe. You can check it out on the social media channels. It's either going to be 9 or 10. I forget. I believe 9 a.m., and I will join that show live here from New York as well, and maybe have some more special guests and interviews and things. So Ball Talk, Heisman Trophy version coming tomorrow with Mike Sanford and John Mallory here on Bronco Nation News. We are back here at the Marriott Marquis in Times Square. Folks are coming behind me to pick up their credentials for the press conferences and things that are going on. There's folks setting up for interviews. And again, about 2 o'clock here in New York, so about noon back in Boise is when Travis Hunter and Ashton Jeanty and Dylan Gabriel and Cam Moore will be meeting with the media. So that'll be coming up here in about a little more than 90 minutes or so. And we'll get video of all that and get it up to the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel later today as well. A lot of comments coming in. Somebody said that we did earlier in the show talk about 8 of the last 10 Maxwell winners have won the Heisman Trophy. But again, it's a different voting pool. It's a different set of people that vote, different criteria. So I wouldn't put a ton of stock into that. But if you are looking for some hope for Ashton Jeanty tomorrow and you want to have more excitement, 8 of the last 10 Maxwell winners have won the Heisman Trophy. If you missed the beginning of the show, Ashton Jeanty last night already making this a historic trip, winning the Doak Walker Award for the top running back in all of college football. And as Jay Tuss was saying earlier, you have to, it's a long list of running backs at Boise State. When you talk about whether it be a Jay Ajayi, an Alexander Madison, a Doug Martin, you go down the line, all Ian Johnson, all the great running backs, Jeremy Avery that Boise State has had over the years, none of them were even a finalist for the Doak Walker Award. So for Ashton Jeanty to be a finalist in itself was a big deal. To win the Doak Walker Award is an even bigger deal. And then for him to also win the Maxwell Award for the most outstanding player in college football is a massive deal. Now, the Associated Press Player of the Year did go to Travis Hunter. So there's kind of dueling National Player of the Year awards, but the Maxwell Award given out to the most outstanding player in college football last night did go to Ashton Jeanty. So Ashton Jeanty now has the 2 single most prestigious awards in the history of Boise State football with the Maxwell Award and the Doak Walker Award. And so regardless of what happens tomorrow night, he's expected to finish no worse than second. That's not a bad trip to New York to win the Doak Walker and the Maxwell and finish second in the Heisman. But if you're looking for hope that he could win the dang thing tomorrow night, 8 of the last 10 Maxwell winners have won the Heisman Trophy, and that is a good sign for Ashton Jeanty. The odds also came down in Vegas once they saw him win the Maxwell Award from minus 5,000 in some spots for Travis Hunter down to minus 2,000. So he is a heavy favorite, but certainly the odds came down a little bit, seeing that award there for Ashton Jeanty winning the Doak Walker and the Maxwell Award last night. So I am looking forward to talking to Travis Hunter, talking to some of these candidates here in a little bit. That's going to be a lot of fun. Don May is asking if they announce the vote totals for the Heisman candidates. They do. That'll come out tomorrow. Nobody is allowed to give their vote till after the ceremony is over. And so Mike Prater has a vote, and he'll have a column up at BroncoNationNews.com tomorrow night when it's over, detailing who he voted for and talking about Ashton Jeanty and whether he won, finished second. So Mike Prater plans to reveal his vote tomorrow night, and the Heisman voters are allowed to release their vote after the ceremony is over. And yes, there will be a full breakdown of the voting, and Ashton Jeanty is expected to finish no worse than second. You can pick 3 finalists on your ballot. You can put 3 finalists on there, and they actually bring 4 to New York, but only 3 finalists, I believe, is who you vote for. 1, 2, and 3, and I think it's 3 votes for first, 2 votes for second, 1 vote for first, and they add it all up and see who the winner is. So we'll find out tomorrow night, but obviously some suspense added in with Ashton Jeanty winning the Maxwell Award last night. You see things starting to get a little busy behind me. We got folks getting their credentials and things and getting set up for the events of the day. Zion Washington, he's a defensive player. He is a roommate of Ashton Jeanty's. So Ashton lived with Zion and Taylon Green, I believe, last year. Taylon Green obviously moved on. So Andrew Simpson and Zion Washington are now, I believe, the roommates with Ashton Jeanty. And so we had the running back perspective. I thought, let's get the roommate perspective. So Zion Washington, standout defensive back for the Broncos and a roommate and friend of Ashton Jeanty the last couple of years here. Let's hear from the roommate on what this is all like, seeing Ashton Jeanty here in New York.
It's been great to be able to see him just enjoy the moment and get everything that he's been deserving.
You may need to turn your volume up a little bit also. Sorry about that.
Just to see everything that we've talked about, the dreams, see them all come true for a guy like Ashton, who's very deserving of everything that's coming at him. It's great to see.
When you go back to last year and him deciding to come back, I don't know how much he talked to you about that or what as a roommate, but I mean, what was that like for you to watch and like him deciding to, with all the other offers and things being thrown at him, to want to come back here?
I mean, it was just crazy just to see how many opportunities he was going to have, and, knowing he was the best running back in the nation, but even cooler to see that he's going to keep his head down and, stay loyal to us and just stay here to achieve everything that you see us achieving now. That was all his plan back when he had to make the decision to stay, and, everything's working out. It's nice.
I mean, I remember the UCLA bowl game. They're already passing out the T-shirts and stuff. I mean, it's kind of a, ballsy move, so to speak, to have that Heisman campaign and all that for a group of 5 running back, and just to put yourself out there like that for him, for the school. I mean, he obviously backed it up. But I mean, what do you make just, I guess, of just he embraced kind of all this from the beginning?
I mean, he knew better than everybody else. Everybody was saying that he had, special talents and things like that. Like, yeah, we knew that, but he knew deep down that he hadn't even scratched the surface yet. Like, when the conversations that we used to have after, him having big games or making big plays, or even the Heisman talk last year, he was like, they don't even know yet. Like, they haven't seen it all yet. And I'm just sitting there like, is it for real? Like you're doing crazy stuff, bro. Like, this is crazy. He's like, I'm not even anywhere near where I'm gonna be at yet. He was right.
What just the goals were obviously pretty high from the beginning. I mean, just I know you had the bet with the old lineman for the 2,000 yards and all that, but I mean, just like I said, he's taken all this on and wanted to bring it on and said, yeah. And I mean, very first game of the season doing the Heisman pose. I mean, to back it up like that, like you're saying, I mean, just how impressive has it been to see this whole thing the last year?
Yeah, it's honestly mind blowing just to think about how crazy it is, everything that's going on, but to know that he said that he was going to do these things a long time ago, and people questioning it, whatnot. Can he really do that on this big stage? and he's been putting on a show for everybody to see. And like we say, like he's not even done yet. He's got a long career, obviously, and this is just the start of his greatness.
What's been as a roommate, like just watching this last year unfold, maybe the last couple months, especially once the games got going? What's been the coolest part of this for you?
Just to see him enjoying it. At times, all of this gets very stressful, especially for somebody, with status like him. He's got a lot of things getting thrown at him. He's got to manage a lot of things. And he's good with asking for help with those. And we just, try to make him realize, like, hey, bro, at the end of the day, we're playing a game. You're doing great things. You just keep doing what you're doing, bro. You don't got to do anything more, everybody loves Ashton, that. And he loves us all, too. So it's just a great environment. Just having him be able to have a smile on his face and achieve everything that he deserves is probably the greatest feeling.
Take us into the house with you guys. I mean, what's he like away from football and stuff?
He's a happy dude, smile on his face all the time. He always wants to do things for others. He's real big on making sure that he leaves an impact on other people, in any ways that he can. He's just overall really good dude, and at the house he's got his jokes and whatnot. He's a funny guy as well. Just overall good dude. I mean,
is you guys the big party house, or is he kind of like to be kind of quiet, or what's it like over there?
Nah, he's pretty business. He's he knows that everything at stake for him, so that keeps it good for obviously me and Drew as well.
Yeah.
So he keeps everything in check, which is real good. He's really mature for only being just turned 21, and he's gonna continue to make the right decisions in life.
So is he taking care of the rent and all that, or?
No, we still got to pay rent. We still got to pay. He could, yes, but no, we still paying rent.
We joke about it, but obviously he's got a pretty nice NIL package. I mean, just how have you seen him kind of be the same person, if he is the same person, like from last year when he decided to come back to now?
I mean, I think what a lot of people don't really see is how giving he is with everything that he's gotten. It hasn't been, he's not selfish at all. So you wouldn't honestly be able to tell a difference besides the fact that he's been able to provide for more people, just like he just took out the O-line for dinner. Those are just little things that he does all the time. That was highlighted, but he's always giving out to people and making sure that everybody else has what they need.
So does he ever let you pay for dinner then, or?
I mean, he'll tell you that I never will. I have. But at the same time,
it ain't 50-50.
It's definitely not 50-50. He's got it for sure.
Could you imagine some of the, I don't know if he's doing all online classes or what, but just the star he is around town now, and I'm sure you're with him a lot of those times, but just what, could you imagine just the attention that he gets outside and everybody wanting his picture or autograph and name, and I mean, just how does he handle that part of it, and like, can you put yourself in his shoes and think about how hard all that fame and all that would be? Yeah, I mean, he handles it at an elite level. It's just it gets hectic for sure, but he knows that people have good intentions out here. We're in a nice city, so people aren't coming at him for the bad reasons. He knows that this is a really safe area, so he takes on everything very well. Smile on his face, like I said, do as much as he can for other people, whether that's take a picture, simple as that. A lot of people who are in his position would just be like, okay, no, not too much going on, but he'll be like, yeah, you want to take a picture? Smile for the picture, He knows the impact that he has on people in the community, and that's the reason he's so special. He's got the sandwich, you have the snowplow. I mean, what has there been one that's the shirts, obviously, but what's been the craziest part of all this for you? I mean, honestly, it's just probably seeing all the celebrities or whatnot, and all the people you would say have status, just acknowledging him or reaching out to him and giving him credit, and then he's getting all these different types of deals and everything. It's just kind of crazy to just be able to witness it. You hear him on the phone with people, and it's just like, you on the phone with who? And you got to really think about it, and it's like, oh well, yeah, that makes sense. You're up there now. So you're gonna get some of those sacks. You're gonna get some free.
Oh yeah, for sure. I already got me some gear. That's gonna come in for sure.
I've heard a lot about like what you see, like it's real. Like some of these star players, like half the team don't like them because they're getting all this money, getting all this. They're scoring the touchdowns, whatever. But it seems like genuinely, it's hard to find someone that doesn't like them on the team.
Yeah.
And is that true? And why is that?
That's 100% true. You couldn't find not one person that can say something bad about Ashton. That's just how he carries himself. He's never treated anybody wrong. So a lot of the times, people get the money and, the fame or whatnot, and they'll start pushing people aside. But he treats everybody in the locker room like he did when he first came in here, which is, like I said, it's crazy to see. Like, these stories and stuff, like, it seems like we talk just good on him just because what he provides, but you can't say anything bad about the dude. He's been himself ever since, and the money and the fame and everything that he's getting, it's not going to change him.
And I've heard he's like called players only meetings and stuff. Like, I mean, it just seems like he's really embraced the leadership part of this too.
Yeah, no, he's a great leader, and everybody's going to listen because the things that he's doing are things that people dream of, and for a guy who practices what he preaches, it's real big because a lot of times, often guys are just good at football and they'll say something and then live another way, but he's gonna say it and he's gonna live it out.
How as a defensive guy, how'd you become friends with him? Good enough to be his roommate and stuff over these last couple of years.
Well, we're from the same city, so that played a part in it. And then my cousin's Taylon, and obviously running back, quarterback deal. So we became closer through Taylon, and that's how we ended up ultimately living together.
Is it fun being his roommate?
Oh yeah, it's a great time. Yeah.
Well, what's just to be his roommate, be his friend these last couple of years, to see what he's done, to see this last year, to see how close he is to Barry Sanders, like, just how cool has this been for you?
To be able to be a part of this and to be able to say that Ashton Jeanty is one of my best friends is just it's crazy. It's an honor to be able to be in the position and witness all these things with him, and he's got a lot of trust with me. So just our relationship growing, that's our relationship's never going to end, and to know that is great. You ask him the same thing. It's just we're brothers for the rest of our lives. Our families are going to be close for the rest of our lives. So to be able to come in and not expect any of this at first and just see everything come work out how it is, it's just you gotta thank God for things like this.
What's your favorite Ashton Jeanty run?
I would say one of the Washington State ones where he broke all the tackles and ran a pretty long run. I liked because that showed his full package. We talked about it the other day actually. It was that run. Obviously one of the Georgia Southern runs, he went crazy on those, but I would say that Washington State one really stuck out to me, and then the way that the stadium responded to it was what really made it exciting. They gave all the Heisman chants and everything. That was, great energy. To be able to see that was probably my favorite experience from it.
I mean, you haven't taken 30 carries a game, but you obviously know how physical this game is, how hard it is. I mean, is he just come home after a game with ice packs all over his body on the couch? Or, I mean, what's it been like seeing the toll that he takes, the 30-plus carries every game, and he had the elbow injury, and yet he's just answering the bell every time and still continuing to produce this year?
I mean, he's what you call a dog. Like, it's a lot. He knows it's a lot. It's not easy, but he loves this team and this community so much that he's willing to do whatever it takes, literally do whatever it takes, whether that's hours of extra treatment, massages, and stretching classes, all that type of stuff that will help him to get on the field and be able to produce to the best of his ability. He's going to take part of it.
So is it scary to think about what 23 days of rest could do for Ashton Jeanty going into the Fiesta Bowl?
We were just talking about that. Like, it's crazy to see him gonna go out there again fresh is scary. Yeah, that's scary. A fresh Ashton Jeanty is scary.
And I guess final thing, I mean, the Heisman Trophy, and it's been talked about for all year, the campaign, all that, and it's kind of a formality Monday, but to be able to turn on that TV and see your brother in the Heisman Trophy ceremony and all this stuff and the history that means in this game, just how surreal is that part of this, that we're actually at this week, and just the emotions like for you?
It's all a blessing, God's putting him in this position for a reason, and God's trusting him with such a thing as getting this award if he were to win it, and we all know that he's gonna respond to it and
do everything the right way as a Heisman should. This award it definitely is an Ashton Jeanty caliber award, so to speak. So for him to be able to get this, just be a part of it, even if he weren't to win, it's all a blessing. He's on this stage for a reason. He's in the talk for a reason, and being able to embrace this with him, his family, everybody, we're just super proud of him. And win or lose, it doesn't matter. You're still Ashton at the end of the day. You're gonna do great things, and it's just a crazy experience.
Why should you win it though?
I mean, he's just a different dude, man. I mean, like, the things that he does is it's just not normal. You don't see the things that he does every single game. Like, the stats literally show it. You turn on the tape, the things that he's able to do with so many people in the box or whatnot, and just every single game consistently make the plays that he's making, being number one in almost every single running back stat. Those are just things that you can't look over those things.
So how excited are you, I guess, for this week, but also to see how many more games you have left with him, and then once it sadly someday does end here, how excited are you to see what he can do at the next level?
Oh, it's gonna be a show for sure. We know he's going to be one of the greatest running backs ever. That's in the league as well. From the start, he's going to go out there and do big things. Hopefully he goes to my Cowboys, back in the city, and, he'll handle everything, help them out a little bit.
There he is, Zion in Washington, a roommate of Ashton Jeanty, and we appreciate him. Tyler Crow, James Montgomery, the running backs coach, all for sitting down with me earlier this week to give you the perspective of a coach, of a roommate, and of a position teammate there. The different angles of this as gets set for tomorrow night's Heisman Trophy ceremony. Some media stuff today. I know that the 4 finalists were just out walking Times Square. You'll probably start to see some videos of that circulate. I'm sure Jay might have been out there, but they just walked Times Square, got some pictures. Now they're in having a private lunch, and then they'll have their press conference at 2:00. So we'll get to, and that's my time's off. You guys are back in Boise, but it's I guess noon back in Boise. They'll have the press conference, and then tonight there's like a happy hour where they get to mingle with all the other Heisman winners and stuff, and that's going to be awesome for Ashton Jeanty to get to hang out with Barry Sanders and everybody else that's won the Heisman that's here in town for the ceremony. And then tomorrow, there's not a ton going on during the day. We are going to get interviews with Spencer Danielson and Jeremiah Dickey, and hopefully Ashton's parents as well in the morning. So we will get that to you and get that up on the YouTube channel and all that. And they have another press conference like an hour before the event, so we will get you that press conference, and then there's the ceremony, and we're supposed to also get to chat with Ashton Jeanty after the ceremony as well. So pretty cool the next couple of days. And I played it at the beginning of the show, but Boost Mobile did have a Travis Hunter mural. We needed to get the James or one of maybe it is, I just haven't seen it yet, maybe the Saks underwear or one of those companies. We need to get some Ashton Jeanty, maybe BNN should have paid for one or something, plaster Ashton Jeanty all over Times Square, because Travis Hunter was out there on multiple billboards when I walked out there this morning. So no, I do not get to go to the Heisman brunch. Somebody is asking. No, they are in there right now, all the 4 finalists, their families, and they're having a pretty cool opportunity to kind of, for Ashton Jeanty and Travis Hunter to break bread and chat a little bit. And then as I said, tonight there's a happy hour with all the former Heisman winners and the finalists, their families. And no, the media does not get any part of that. But I did say at 7:00 tonight here in New York, 5:00 back in Boise, 5:00, I will join Prater and the ball game and give you a few more perspective of the press conference and all the events that have gone on today. So if you want to make sure 5:00 today you're listening to Prater in the ball game, I will be joining them live here from the Marriott Marquis. 90 minutes in the books. Appreciate everybody for checking us out. Hope you enjoyed all the interviews. Thanks to Jay Tuss for stopping by earlier in the show as well. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. And I've said it a couple times, but not a cheap trip to get up here to New York. So if you're able to help us out with a subscription, we would love that. Just $50, one-time fee gets you a full 365 days of coverage at Bronco Nation News. Just type in that promo code BNN50DEAL when you go to register for a one-year subscription. I think they call it a coupon code actually on the website, BNN50DEAL, and that is a one-time payment for 365 days of coverage for $50. You can read Mike Prater's column tomorrow on who he voted for the Heisman. You can read all of my stuff that's going up later today and tomorrow. Nathan Carroll has a Maddox Madsen column that we're about to put up with the news that Malachi Nelson is transferring. Jay and I discussed that earlier in the show. If you came in late and missed that, you can go back and watch us talk about that. Been a lot of fun. Appreciate it. Again, 90-minute show live on YouTube for free. So if you're unable to subscribe, at least go support the sponsors, whether it be Taco Bell or ICCU or Lithia or any of our great sponsors that we've told you about throughout the show. Go support them and tell them it's because of their advertising on BNN, because that's what's allowing us to invest, several $1,000s to be here to cover this historic weekend for Boise State. So appreciate all you guys for checking us out. Another shout out to my amazing wife, Karen, dealing with a sick kid back home, Naismith, and also dealing with just the logistics of, dealing with two kids and while her husband's out of town working in New York for the weekend. So love you, hon. Appreciate you for everything. And Naismith, bud, I hope you keep feeling better soon and I'll be FaceTiming you soon. But love you, and I love my family and cannot do this job without the support of my wife and kids. So hope Naismith gets back to health soon. Hope you guys go subscribe. Again, would love to have you subscribe. BNN 50 deal at a minimum. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button here on YouTube, and turn on your notifications because we're going to have not live interviews, but all kinds of press conference interviews, all kinds of stuff going on the YouTube channel later today. You want to hear from Travis Hunter? You want to hear from Ashton Jeanty, Cam Ward, Dylan Gabriel? Well, you need to be a YouTube subscriber because those are going to be thrown up on the YouTube channel later this afternoon. So appreciate you guys. By the way, keep the profanity out of the chat. I don't like having to block people. It's, freedom of speech. You can say what you want. Even if I disagree with your opinion, I'm not going to block you for it. But when you repeatedly start dropping the F word and things and calling people racist and stuff, sorry, we're not going to have any of that in our chat. So I did put somebody in timeout for a while. But we're not going to stand for the language and that kind of stuff. And let's keep the chat a little bit cleaner if we can from some of you. But appreciate you guys. Thanks again for checking us out. BroncoNationNews.com is our website. Please go subscribe. Please go check out our content. BroncoNationNews.com. Support the sponsors. Subscribe if you can, and give us a like and a subscription here on YouTube, and we'll be back with more coverage from not exactly sure when. We got different stuff we'll be throwing on the YouTube channel, different stuff on the website throughout the next couple of days, maybe a live show tomorrow night. Maybe a live show tomorrow at some point. If we can get Spencer Danielson and Jeremiah Dickey on live, we maybe would do that. But appreciate you guys for checking us out. Thank you so much for the support. And again, we'll be here the next couple of days, full coverage of Ashton Jeanty at the Heisman Trophy ceremony. Pretty cool historic event for Boise State. We're happy to be here at Bronco Nation News. We appreciate all you guys for checking us out, and we will talk to you later. Bronco Nation News live from the Heisman Trophy ceremony here in New York City at the Marriott Marquis Hotel. My name is BJ Rains. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you guys a little later.